Well, hello there, listening squirrels. Let's get to chapter 2 of The Body in the Library. It was an idea that was being at the moment discussed by Colonel Melchett and Colonel Bantry. The chief constable, after viewing the body and seeing his subordinates set to work on their routine task, had adjourned with the master of the house. This thing's bugging me a little bit. I'll be moving around a lot. Oh, sorry. Routine task. Had adjourned with the master to the house, to the study, and the other one in the house. Colonel Melchett was an irascible looking man with a habit of tugging at his short red mustache. He did so now, shooting a perplexed sideways glance at the other man. Finally, he rapped out, "Look here, Bantry. Gotta get this off my chest. Is it a fact that you don't know from Adam who this girl is?" The other's answer was explosive, but the chief constable interrupted him. Yes, old man, but look at it like this. Might be deuced awkward for you, married man, fond of your missus and all that, but just between ourselves, if you were tied up with this girl in any way, better say so now. Quite natural to want to suppress the fact. Should feel the same myself, but it won't do. Murder case. Facts bound to come out. Dash it all, I'm not suggesting you strangled the girl. Not the sort of thing you'd do, I know that. But after all, she came here, to this house. Put it, she broke in and was waiting to see you, and some bloke or other followed her down and did her in. Possible, you know. See what I mean? Damn it all, Melchett, I tell you, I've never set eyes on that girl in my life. I'm not that sort of man. That's all right then. Shouldn't blame you, you know, man of the world. Still, if you say so. Question is, what was she doing down here? She doesn't come from these parts, that's quite certain. The whole thing's a nightmare, fumed the angry master of the house. The point is, old man, what was she doing in your library? How should I know? I didn't ask her here. No, but she came here all the same. Looks as though she wanted to see you. You haven't had any odd letters or anything? No, I haven't. Colonel Melchett inquired delicately, what were you doing yourself last night? I went to the meeting of the Conservative Association, 9 o'clock at Much Benham. And you got home when? I left Much Benham just after 10, had a bit of trouble on the way home, had to change a wheel. I got back at 11:45. You didn't go into the library? No, pity. I was tired. I went straight up to bed. Anyone waiting up for you? No, I always take the latchkey. Lorimer goes to bed at 11 unless I give orders to the contrary. Who shuts up the library? Lorimer. Usually about 7:30 this time of year. Would he go in there again during the evening? Not with my being out. He left the tray with whiskey and glasses in the hall. I see. What about your wife? I don't know. She was in bed when I got home and fast asleep. She may have sat in the library yesterday evening or in the drawing room. I forgot to ask her. Oh well, we shall soon know all the details. Of course, it's possible one of the servants may be concerned, eh? Colonel Bantry shook his head. I don't believe it. They're all a most respectable lot. We've had 'em for years. Melchett agreed. Yes, it doesn't seem likely that they're mixed up in it. Looks more as though the girl came down from town. Perhaps with some young fellow, though why they wanted to break into this house. Bantry interrupted. London, that's more like it. We don't have goings on down here, at least. Well, what is it? Upon my word, exploded Colonel Bantry. Basil Blake. Who's he? Young fellow connected with the film industry. Poisonous young brute. My wife sticks up for him because she was at school with his mother, but of all the decadent, useless young jackanapes wants his behind kicked, he's taken that cottage on the Lansham Road, ghastly modern bit of building. He has parties there, shrieking, noisy crowds, and he has girls down for the weekend. Girls? Yes, there was one last week, one of these platinum blondes. The colonel's jaw dropped. A platinum blonde, eh? Said Melchett reflectively. Yes, I say, Melchett, you don't think the chief constable said briskly, it's a possibility. It accounts for a girl this type being in St. Mary Mead. I think I'll run along and have a word with this young fella, Blake. What'd you say his name was? Blake, Basil Blake. Will he be at home, do you know? Let me see, what's today? Saturday? Usually gets here sometime Saturday morning, Melchett said grimly. We'll see if we can find him. Basil Blake's cottage, which consisted of all modern conveniences enclosed in a hideous shell of half-timbering and sham Tudor, was known to the postal authorities and to William Booker, builder, as Chatsworth, to Basil and his friends as the period piece, and to the village of St. Mary Mead at large as Mr. Booker's new house. It was little more than a quarter of a mile from the village proper, being situated on a new building estate that had been bought by the enterprising Mr. Booker, just beyond the Blue Boar, with frontage on what had been a particularly unspoilt country lane. Gossington Hall was about a mile further on along the same road. Lively interest had been aroused in St. Mary Mead when news went round that Mr. Booker's new house had been bought by a film star. Eager watch was kept for the first appearance of the legendary creature in the village, and it may be said that as far as appearances went, Basil Blake was all that could be asked for. Little by little, however, the real facts leaked out. Basil Blake was not a film star, not even a film actor. He was a very junior person, rejoicing in the title of about 15th in the list of those responsible for set decorations at Linville Studios, headquarters of British New Era Films. The village maidens lost interest, and the ruling class of censorious spinsters took exception to Basil Blake's way of life. Only the landlord of the Blue Boar continued to be enthusiastic about Basil and Basil's friends. The revenues of the Blue Boar had increased since the young man's arrival in the place. The police car stopped outside the distorted rustic gate of Mr. Booker's fancy, and Colonel Melchett, with a glance of distaste at the excessive half-timbering of Chatsworth, strode up to the front door and attacked it briskly with a knocker. It was opened much more promptly than he had expected. A young man with straight, somewhat long black hair, wearing orange corduroy trousers and a royal blue shirt, snapped out, "Well, what do you want?" "Are you Mr. Basil Blake?" "Of course I am. I should be glad to have a few words with you, if I may, Mr. Blake." "Who are you?" "I'm Colonel Melchett, the chief constable of the county." Mr. Blake said insolently, "You don't say so. How amusing." And Colonel Melchett, following the other end, understood what Colonel Bantry's reactions had been. The toe of his own boot itched. Containing himself, however, he said with an attempt to speak pleasantly, "You're an early riser, Mr. Blake." "Not at all. I haven't been to bed yet." "Indeed?" But I don't suppose you've come here to inquire into my hours of bed going, or if you have, it's rather a waste of the county's time and money. What is it you want to speak to me about?" Colonel Melchett cleared his throat. "I understand, Mr. Blake, that last weekend you had a visitor, a fair-haired young lady." Basil Blake stared, threw back his head, and roared with laughter. "Have the old cats been on to you from the village about my morals? Damn it all, morals aren't a police matter, you know that." "As you say," said Melchett dryly, "your morals are no concern of mine. I've come to you because the body of a fair-haired young woman of slightly exotic appearance has been found murdered." "Struth!" Blake stared at him. "Where?" "In the library at Gossington Hall." "At Gossington? At old Bantry's? I say, that's pretty rich. Old Bantry, the dirty old man." Colonel Melchett went very red in the face. He said sharply through the renewed mirth of the young man opposite him, "Kindly control your tongue, sir. I came to ask you if you can throw any light on this business." "You've come round to ask me if I've missed a blonde, is that it? Why should... Hello? Hello? What's this?" A car had drawn up outside with a scream of brakes. Out of it tumbled a young woman, dressed in flapping black and white pajamas. She had scarlet lips, blackened eyelashes, and a platinum blonde head. She strode up to the door, flung it open, and exclaimed angrily, "Why did you run out on me, you brute?" Basil Blake had risen. "So there you are. Why shouldn't I leave you? I told you to clear out, and you wouldn't." "Why the hell should I? Because you told me to. I was enjoying myself." "Yes, with that filthy brute Rosenberg. You know what he's like. You were jealous, that's all. Don't flatter yourself. I hate to see a girl I like who can't hold her drink and lets a disgusting Central European paw her about. That's a damned lie. You were drinking pretty hard yourself and going on with the black-haired Spanish bitch." Whoa. "If I take you to a party, I expect you to be able to behave yourself. And if I refuse to be dictated to, and that's that. You said we'd go to the party and come on down here afterwards. I'm not going to leave a party before I'm ready to leave it. No, and that's why I left you flat. I was ready to come down here, and I came. I don't hang around waiting for any fool of a woman. Sweet, polite person you are. You seem to have followed me down all right. I wanted to tell you what I thought of you. If you think you can boss me, my girl, you're wrong. And if you think you can order me about, you can think again." They glared at each other. It was at this moment that Colonel Melchett seized his opportunity and cleared his throat loudly. Basil Blake swung round on him. "Hello, I forgot you were here. About time you took yourself off, isn't it? Let me introduce you. Dinah Lee, Colonel Blimp of the county police. And now, Colonel, that you've seen my blonde is alive and in good condition, perhaps you'll get on with the good work concerning old Bantry's little bit of fluff. Good morning." Colonel Melchett said, "I advise you to keep a civil tongue in your head, young man, or you'll let yourself in for trouble," and stumped out, his face red and wrathful. And I would read more, but I gotta move around before this gets any worse. Sorry about that. So we'll be on 3, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. About 19 pages. Love y'all. Be sweet, don't be ugly. Pray for me. Hit my gut, stay in place till I have this doggone surgery. I'm going to the doctor. I got an appointment just to my regular doctor to ask questions about some concerns I have. And then on to talk to a surgeon, I'm sure. Love y'all. Be sweet, don't be ugly. And I'm praying for all y'all too. Don't forget to pray for my YT daughter, Kim's Crochet and Knits, and my sissy, Teresa Patton. Pray hard for both those gals, and there's a whole bunch of whole flock of folks. The Lord knows who they are. Love y'all. Be sweet, don't be ugly. Bye.